sheets, and we're going to be doing an early lineup build slash preview of the NBA slate for this evening. Once again, I'm riding solo. And just a couple of announcements as I get the chat enabled. I'm going to be around tomorrow, and then I'm not going to be around for a few days after that. So I don't know if Bobby's going to cover it or whatever that's going to be, but yeah. I might pop in at some point, but I'm definitely away from Friday through Tuesday, and we'll see what content I can scrounge up. But don't count on the live videos or anything like that for me for a couple of days. But today I'm here, and what we're going to do is what we usually do. We're going to take a look at the slate, take a look at how it looks just from a scheduling perspective, then take a look at the top projected plays, get a couple of ideas of what's going to look good, get an idea of what the injury report could look like, I suppose, and then we'll screw around with some lineup building and see what that would look like. Okay, so let me. Do we want to review last night? I mean, we don't have to, but another day I'm going to do that. I'm going to start doing the contest sim review to see how we did. I did put a lot of work into the late swapping last night. It just didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. That's the best I can describe it, but I was happy with what I did. Let me share my screen here. Okay, and feel free to pop whatever questions you might have in here. Another announcement or two. I'm going to do two things. Number one, I'm going to do an early NFL look after this. And it's going to be early, obviously, because there's going to be a lot of guys getting ruled out and other stuff that could happen between now and Sunday. But at least it'll give you an idea of what's going on in a very unique week in the NFL, with some teams playing for something, some teams not playing for something, all kinds of incentives and things like that. I'm also going to probably go live this evening. Not the last one, but I'm going to be away anyway, so I'm going to be doing live sweat tonight, which I'm going to also use that to do my PGA live lineup build as well. So, well, you know what? I'm getting Method Man saying that the Detroit-Utah game looks like a good stack. Let's see. I mean, I literally haven't looked yet. We're looking at all this for the first time. I did run my sheets, and we'll see what looks like a good stack, and we'll see what's up. Oh, look at this. You want to double up? Very, very nice, Joanne. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. So let's look at how this breaks down. So we have two games at 7 o'clock, one at 7:30, 1, 2, 3. 3 games at 8, 2 games at 8:30, and 2 games at 9. All right. So no island games, just kind of spread out across the board. You can, late swap if you want. Again, if you're going to play these things 100% clean, you'll log in at 7:20 and late swap. You'll log in at 7:50 and late swap. You'll log in at 8:20 and late swap, and then again at 8:50 and late swap. And that's unfortunately what makes the NBA hard is that I presume that all of the people that put in 6 figures a night that you're competing with in some of your tournaments are just going to be doing this. And if you're competing against that, it's just very difficult to win. I'll just be honest with you. It's an edge that that exists. That if you're either doing it or someone else is doing it to you. That's the best I can describe it. That's not to say that you can't play if you don't do that, but you're certainly giving something up, and it's important that let you guys know that. For me, for example, I don't think tonight I'm going to be able to be around to do really what I need to do to play perfectly. I'm definitely not going to be around at 7:20. I am almost certainly not going to be around at 8:20. There's a shot I'm here around at 8:50. So if I played tonight, it's certainly not going to be playing very efficiently. Let's take a look at the injury news, just so I'm looking here. I don't really see anything right now, except Anthony Simons is upgraded to questionable. All right, so that's actually something. Everybody else looks, let's see, Kobe White has an ankle. Who knows? Middleton, again, who knows? We're just going to have to see. Fortunately, that one is 7 o'clock. And let's, yeah, we'll get there, BMAC. We haven't really gone over the games yet. Tari Eason is going to be on a minutes limit one way or the other. I just don't play guys on minutes limits. Dante Exum, doubtful. All right, so he's considered out. Bruce Brown, who knows? Again, like these are things that we'll know before 7 o'clock. But I think it is important to just kind of scan through here and see what could happen. Patrick Williams might not play. Andrew Nembhard, no idea. I mean, he played 8 minutes, then got taken out of the game. So who knows? So as usual, there's a lot of stuff. Reith, upgraded questionable. He could play. Kamara, he's questionable. So again, even though we're going to have a lot of this, and it is kind of silly to speculate, I think it is important to know what's going on out there. Now, as far as late versus early, before we get into the sheets here, you know, Milwaukee, Indiana, I mean, it's a 100 million point total there, and it's an early game, so you're going to have to make a decision there. And then, like, late stuff, this Clipper-Phoenix game is probably not going to be a big deal. Detroit, Utah might. As you were mentioning, maybe that looks like a good step. We'll take a look at it. And if, in fact, it does look like a good stack, that being a late game, you know, that's kind of important. But we'll get there. Chicago Knicks, probably nothing big there. Portland, Dallas. So it doesn't look like there's any huge advantage to playing the later games, really, which is good. I mean, it makes life for us, the ones that can't be around the computer all night, like a little bit less annoying. All right, so let's pull up the sheets here for today, and we'll just take a quick look, and then we'll try to see if we need to do game stacks, and then we'll do a Saber Sim build. So we're just kind of ranking all these guys just straight by point per dollar at the beginning, just to kind of see what the value looks like. And here's the things that I look at. Again, I haven't looked at this at all yet. First thing I see is that Bismack Biyombo at 3,800 is one of the top point per dollar plays on the slate. And as a matter of fact, he's the only guy over 5K, under even 5K, I think, that rates as a good value point per dollar on this whole slate. So he's going to be, I imagine, very popular just because he's the only one down here. If you don't go to him, you're going to be in these $5,600 guys. You know, you're going to be in the range of these $5,600 guys, which is, you know, you might have to do that, which is fine, but it really restricts your ability to get to some of these higher priced guys, if in fact that's what you want to do. So Bismack Biyombo is going to be, I imagine, pretty popular. And it's not as if he's a lock. I mean, it is a back-to-back for him. When is he going to play? 24 minutes? I mean, that's not bad, but I've faded better chalk before. Let's put it that way. I mean, the other thing I see here, which, I mean, it shouldn't be ignored, you know, is that the two Cleveland guys are the top 2 point per dollar plays on the slate. This doesn't happen all too often. I guess they're playing Washington. That's kind of a big deal. And the other thing is that, you know, they don't really cut into each other's usage or anything like that. So, if you wanted to stack, for example, Mitchell and Allen, I don't think that's a problem as far as like correlation goes. You're not, you know, Donovan Mitchell's not taking Jared Allen rebounds. Jared Allen is not taking Donovan Mitchell's threes, and they might run some pick and roll together. Who knows? So I think that's actually not bad if you can get to that. Now, if you did do that, to piggyback off of the conversation we had a little bit yesterday, I think it's probably a good idea to play someone from Washington, because if those two guys are going to get their ceilings, then the Washington team is just going to have to be able to keep up. So someone from Washington is going to have a ceiling, I believe. So if you play one or two of those guys, that's fine. That's one of the guys is fine. But if you're going to play two of them, I think you do have to go play Washington. I got to tell you, it's a lot of effort, because you have to white run, because I set it up so you have to be a subscriber to chat the YouTube things. I guess you subscribe to put this in here. All right, we'll throw it in there. Anyway, try not to advertise on here. I appreciate it. Oh, it's coming in from Twitch. Oh, interesting. So I have to block you. I don't want to block people, but I have to. Sigh. All right, we're gonna block him. I just can't have that. It's not that he's mean or anything. The guy's just trying to make a living, but whatever. Anyway, now again, we had this discussion yesterday about what's required in stacking. But yesterday the idea was that if I played 4 Golden States, the question was, do I have to play guys from the other side, and from Orlando? And I didn't think it was necessary. It turns out it was the right thing to do, because you would have played Banchero, and he smashed. But the Golden State guys, I mean, Chris Paul did nothing, and the center didn't do all that much. So that wasn't even like it worked out anyway. You needed Kuminga. Pretty much. All right. So we have the 2 Cleveland guys. I'd probably run that back with Washington if I was going to play both of them together. Otherwise, one of these two certainly makes sense. All right, so Milwaukee, Indiana. I mean, let's talk about it, because it is a 1 million point total. Problem is that, I mean, it's hard to play these guys. What are you going to do? I mean, Giannis certainly looks like a good play. Halliburton certainly looks like a good play. I guess you could play one of them, because you could play Biyombo. I mean, you're not going to be able to play both. So what are you really going to do here? Let's take a look at from a point per dollar perspective. These are actually the 2 best point per dollar plays in this game as well. So I think that the game is fine, but everybody seems fairly priced. Even though it's a big total, the projections and the price is accounted for that already. So I don't think it's a big deal to try to stack this game. But you want to play one of these 2 guys. Certainly, I'm not going to kill you for it, but it's just too expensive to play them both together. Oklahoma City, Atlanta. That's first of all, in the category of stuff that used to work in the 80s. The Hawks would be an extremely good wagering opportunity here, with Oklahoma City coming off of that huge win at home over Boston, now going into Atlanta. Very, very difficult spot. So if you're a betting man, that again, I don't know what kind of edge there is in that kind of thing anymore, but the way I always looked at it, it would be an extremely strong play. Again, I don't proclaim to have any kind of edge in sports betting, so take that for what it is. But Atlanta does look like what you're supposed to do if you were betting. But Jalen Johnson, he looks like a really strong point per dollar play here at 6,300. So that's one thing you could do. And then you have Shea on the other side. You also have Giddey, who's coming off kind of a ceiling-ish type game. Playing these guys on back-to-backs off that game is kind of asking for it. But I think Jalen Johnson is certainly the play coming from this game. And then you could play Trey as well. And Trey has been doing nothing but smashing, by the way, of late. The matchup is not easy, but I will have made worse plays. Let's put it that way. So again, these are things we're thinking about before we actually run these builds here. You know, like, can you play? And we don't even know if this is even what you're supposed to do, right? With respect to stacking and all that stuff. Do you even need to do this? I'm still not convinced one way or the other. It does help you in overtime, but aside from that, I think this correlation thing, players and run back and stuff, is a little bit, it's just not proven. That's the best I'm going to describe this. Makes sense, but it's just not proven. And just because it's not proven doesn't mean it's not true, but it's just not proven. So if you did this, let's just say you played Young and Johnson. I mean, that's really pushing it, you know? And then let's say we played that. Just want to see what it would look like. And if you played the $3,800 guy, I mean, you could do this. Can you play Shea also? Do you even want to play Shea? I mean, there's just nobody under 5K yet, so this is not going to really work. But you could certainly, Jalen Johnson certainly looks like a really good play. Okay. Let's look at, so Toronto, Memphis. I already alluded to Biyombo. I wonder if Quickly and all those former Knicks still look good. They looked really good a couple of days ago. Let's see if the price is adjusted here. Nice. Pirtle looks like a really strong play from Toronto. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Siakam, 8,200. Where the Knick guys go? You got Barrett, 6,300. What's They don't like these guys, huh? Quickly. Who are they playing? The 86 Bears? I guess Memphis is pretty good defensive team, but I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot of respect for these guys. Actually, Quickly was 5K last time. There's a difference, but Pirtle looks like a pretty damn good center play here. And he's going to be, I think, not that high owned because Jared Allen projects better, and Bismack Biyombo, like I said, with that chalk. So if you can get away from that and make a middling build, I think Pirtle is probably something good here. On the Memphis side, just nothing. No, there's Biyombo. Okay. I'm not really getting to Jaren Jackson, not really getting to Ja. Ja's like way down on the list for me. So what this is looking like is really not much of a stacking slate. It's like a couple of one-offs here. New Orleans, Minnesota. Let's see this one. I'm just looking. Edwards, I mean, it's just as good as any of these others, I guess. Very low ownership. I guess it's worth a shot. Nobody really from New Orleans showing up at all. Is there any injury news over here? Because it's a back-to-back. I mean, there might be. I mean, guys might not play, but right now these New Orleans guys are not showing up as even reasonable. So this Minnesota matchup just kind of does suck the projection out of any opponent, so it makes some sense. All right, Brooklyn and Houston. Another game that could be a little slow. So I don't imagine anybody showing up as such a great play. Yeah, I'm just sorting these by point per dollar for now, and just see if anybody's showing up here. Where's any Brooklyns or nothing really? Brooklyn, Houston. All right, Sengun. All right, well, Sengun is always playable. Someone's getting to him. He could smash. So Sengun, I'll totally live with if you get to him. Aside from that, I'm not, just not seeing anything. All right, we're getting to some of these games that people wanted to stack later. But let's see. So Portland, Dallas. This game could be, well, first of all, Simons being back helps Portland's cause, but it still could be a very suspect result. Let's put it that way. That's code for probably some blowout risk here. Portland just can't hang with. I mean, I don't know. I guess they're okay, but right now, I wonder if I'm even projecting for anything for Simons. Probably not. No, I'm getting a projection, which is just not great. So it looks as though, like right now, this game is just either Luka or nothing. I didn't do a video, Travis. I think I'm just going to do a I haven't decided yet. I'm going to do a live lineup build when I go live tonight, but I'm and I did post the sheets, but I don't know if I'm going to have time to do a preview video before that. But I will. You'll see. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure if I have time. Okay. So Dallas is Luka or nothing. So that's the question. Is it Luka? Sure. Doesn't feel like the right thing to do to play him with Kyrie and everybody back. But I mean, you can afford it. You know, you could play him in Biyombo. It's kind of so yeah. I guess there's nothing wrong with him. But aside from him, there's really nothing else in this game. So it's either just Luka or nothing, I guess. Chicago Knicks. This got to be an ugly game. I mean, these teams are pretty slow. I can't imagine anybody show. Oh, look at Anunoby showing up at 5,600. All right. I didn't expect to see that. So, yeah, it looks like him. Andre Drummond's at 1% ownership. He's the top guy I have from Chicago. Now, I did mention earlier that Patrick Williams might be questionable, and Kobe White, who knows? So if those guys are out, then obviously we got to relook. Is this a terrible play, Drummond? I mean, 30 minutes. He's got playing 30 minutes a game. His last game doesn't count because he was against Embiid and he got torched. But what's wrong with playing him? Were we that concerned about the Isaiah Hartenstein defense? Boy, that's that could win you somebody a lot of money. You play Andre Drummond. It's interesting. So OG Anunoby from the Knicks. I'm gonna just throw Andre Drummond in as a play on Chicago. Yeah, I agree with that, D-Mac. If in fact White does miss, then Ayu. I don't know what he's gonna do shooting wise because he's disappointed before. Like let's remind everybody about the Ayu DeSumo experience. It depends which one you get. I mean, you can get this one where he shoots 14 times, or you can get this one where he shoots it. Well, he shot 11 times. That's not bad. This one was an 8. There was a 0 here. Yeah, this was fun. 26 minutes and a 0. So he does have a range of outcomes, let's put it that way. But like I said, I mean, if White's out and he's in, then it's going to be a good play. So Detroit and Utah. All right. So somebody suggested the possibility this game could be stacked. All right. We'll take a test of that. And I am seeing a couple of Detroits on my board here. They're not all the way at the top, but they're certainly around. I mean, between Duren, Bojan, and Cunningham. And then not far behind, actually, you have Clarkson, and then what's going to be, well, I was about to say a low-owned Kessler, but he looks like he's 15% owned. Has he been nuts? But I don't think he's been starting, has he? And there's Lowry. So this is actually, I don't mind this, whoever brought this up, because none of these particular players are, at the top of the list, but they're all like kind of in this range where you get. I would only play these guys if I were stacking. How about that? That would be why I play these guys. Clarkson, Kessler, Lowry. Let's see what he's been doing, by the way, the Kessler. I mean, I can't imagine him popping 30 minutes. Now, he's still only 25 minutes, but 25 minutes for him is pretty good. I mean, he can get 30 really easily there. But remember, the center position is kind of loaded. So if you were going to stack this, you'd play Cunningham and Bojan. And what's good about this is they're not really going to cut into each other too much. Once you start bringing Ivy into the mix, you have that issue. And again, I don't know if I'd go 3 Cunningham, but if I did want to go 3, right, then you're playing Duren, and then you're taking the center away, so it's kind of tough. So it's kind of tough. So I don't know, one of these two maybe makes a little sense. And then on the Utah side, I mean, just play the shooters. You can play Clarkson. You could play Kessler, but that's really speculative. You could play Markkanen. So yeah, I mean, I'm down with this. Now again, it's not the, what's the spread here? That's something to consider. Well, I mean, it's something to consider. It's not like it's a lock to blow out. I mean, what's the spread? 10? Can't be that much. Utah's not that great. What's the spread here? Detroit. Only 8. I mean, I'm not playing for a blowout there. Somebody bet 40 to win 40K. They won't win one game. That's pretty fun. All right, okay. Clippers against Phoenix. Can't imagine that being a big. Well, you get a chance to bust on Bradley Beal again with Durant out. Durant. And then there's always the possibility that one of these Clippers are out. Then you could play the other one with respect to Kawhi and Harden or whatever. But they project kind of well enough. Booker, not the worst play in the world. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you want either Beal, Booker, or Kawhi, maybe. So what's that's interesting, I guess, to go over the plays here. But I think let's do a lineup build and see what we would get if we just use these projections and nothing changed. Eric Gordon, you like? All right, that's fine. So let's we'll build 50. Actually, once again, remember what we're doing here. We're not building 50. We're building 5,000. The only thing that we're doing when we do the contest sims and we're tweaking around with this is figuring out how to rank those 5,000. We're doing 50 lineups and we're ranking them in certain ways. We're taking this pool of 5,000 and then selecting how to rank them. And again, when it comes to the NBA, there's not an overwhelming difference between what you're going to get on just regular projections and what you're going to get when you apply the contest sims, but it's enough where you should probably do it. And here's where you could do some stuff like do max 2 of certain guys if you want to do that. And that's, again, something I struggle with, because allegedly, Saberson takes into that account. So we'll just see. All right, so we're getting pretty much all the guys that we mentioned, right? Mitchell, Giddey, Anunoby, Jalen Johnson, Allen. This is like the top lineup, whatever. Me too. I forgot to talk about him. And then Bismack Biyombo. And if we just ran this by Saber score, now again, Saber score again is Saber score, large slate. It automatically does this by default for you. What you'd be getting is 95% Biyombo and Mitchell, then Jalen Johnson, Anunoby, or whatever. And then the kind of the fun begins. It's like, well, what to do with that? I mean, do you want to keep that? Do you want to pick your top 10? Do you want to, here's some of the other things you could do. Again, you can say to yourself, you could say, maybe I don't want 100% Biyombo or Mitchell or so much Jalen Johnson. So you could manually, just put your max exposure here. And what's cool about it is that you don't have to rerun it because it's just going to take the 5. It's going to re-rank them based on the original 5,000 lineup pool based on your new exposures. And then the other thing you could do is change this from min uniques 1 to min uniques 3 or min uniques 2. And what this will do is a couple of things. Number one, it will not give you your top 50 lineups. but it will spread out your ownership a little bit, like you see here. You know, Mitchell Biombo still really, really heavy, but then you get these other guys. Project Mayhem, you don't know if you want to play the 8. Yeah, they're all hard. They're all hard. I want to see to this ridiculous. I want to see to this 44-44 in the NFL this weekend. What a stupid slate to win that for. But you know, I don't even know what I'm going to do with that. I mean, I have no choice. I have to play it. It's the only time, the only week, and it's a ridiculous slate. But I'll figure something out. So we're rating these by Saber score. So the first thing I want to do is I want to save these to my lineups, and I always create dummy lineups early. And you'll see these are everything I preloaded. We'll just save these to contests. Oh, you did, Mark? Oh, great. Now the one thing I want to do next is you right click here, add contest sim, and fills in all this stuff. And again, what this is accomplishing, allegedly, and I say allegedly lovingly, okay, is that it's going to create a pool of lineups based on SaberSim's approximation of what people should play or will play based on their ownership. And then, again, this is all about how to rank these 5,000 lineups, right? As we'll do this right now. So what this is going to do is then say, okay, of the 5,000 lineups, which are the top rated ones of those to put into, say, the fadeaway with, 10,000 people in it, versus which of those lineups are best, ranked to play the Showtime single entry. And this is the battle right now. This is the battle. This is the technology battleground right now. Is figuring out what the field lineups should be, because they have the math to do the contest simulation. Like if they know what you're going to be playing, they know what your lineups you have to choose from and what lineups other people are going to be playing. They can figure out which one you're supposed to play as far as leverage goes and things like that. But to figure out exactly who everybody's going to play is not easy, right? So that's going to be that's the challenge with these sim wars, so to speak, is who kind of perfects that or comes closest. And then it becomes this constant prisoner's dilemma, right? Is that once you think that you're running sims against the field, then that becomes the new field that other people should run sims against. So you should be simming against yourself, and so on and so on and so on, and fry your brain with this. So we ran the contest sims, and let's first take a look and see what it looks like in the fadeaway. And we rate by risk-adjusted ROI, and you'll see that there's really not a lot of difference. Biz, OG Anunoby, Mitchell, same guys. So again, we'll do this for now, and this is what we do. And you wonder why I do this now, okay? If I'm probably not going to keep them, because when you only have like 15 minutes at the end, you have to be able to do this really quickly. And so the more practice you have doing this, the better. So here's the alley-oop. And I do like to eyeball these from time, and make sure I don't have like 5 guys from one team or whatever. But I generally don't particularly care who I end up with, because all the work was kind of done beforehand. Okay, so here's an interesting one. You got 3 guys from Cleveland. Maybe I'll take a look at this. We might like this because it's got Cunningham and Bojan. That's pretty fun. And then you just keep on inserting these in your lineups thusly. And then the box out. Okay, so you also have to do the box out. We ran a separate contest sim for the box out, but you really don't have. It's very similar to the fadeaway, but just to be pure, we'll put this in here. And we'll just kind of save them just like that. But as I said, you do this. Sorry, you do this process to get practice, because you have to be able to run fast. Yeah, I don't really have one, Roger. I don't really think of it that way. I mean, it seems as though McLovin's always up there. I mean, he's always playing. I mean, these are the guys you're going to see most often, so I'm not surprised. I thought you were going to say who my nemesis was as far as what player I'm playing. Like, I never get there with, say, DeMar DeRozan or, yeah, Travis, I got time for that. Or Chris Middleton or whatever. So let's do FanDuel, and let's do the same thing. Oh, unfortunately, I didn't reserve anything yet, but that's okay. We'll at least be able to run something. Oh, this is actually pretty good. I'll play the monster tonight. They're playing 100,000 for first. I'll do that. Okay, so let's upload again, same process. Upload these, and again, it's a little different because of the way I keep it offline, but it's the same idea. Once you have your projections in here, then we run. Oh, we'll do the same thing. We'll run 50, I guess. I guess let's play 30 in the shot tonight, I think. Focus on the big one over there. I'll show you. You could do these by hand. You know, I'll listen. I'll get you want a process to do that, or we can do that. It's really just going to be going through the sheets one by one, but we'll do it. And you definitely get a more unique, in my opinion, doing them by hand. Because you make your own little decisions. They're not exactly based on the projections necessarily. So you get a little more unique that way, I think. But we'll see. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so Bradley Beal 100%. So that's something that we're going to have to live with, I guess. That's a little annoying. But same deal. Let's so what are we getting here? So Bradley Beal 100%. Bismack again. Need to. You get a little more Barrett over here, which is RJ Barrett, which is interesting. So let's upload our. I just did this while I was running this. A dummy reservation here, and we'll save these. And again, we'll go add contest sim for the shot. Add contest sim for the monster. And we'll do the same thing. Yeah, and then the last thing I'll do, I think I will do a couple of hand builds just to show you guys. You know, listen, if you don't want to, if you don't want to use the Saber sim, you don't want to do it. I mean, yeah, I don't really change anything, BMAC, with the default settings over there. I don't think it matters too much, if at all. I mean, you're just gonna make, if you're gonna keep on re-ranking them in different ways, you know, for specific contests. I don't think it matters. All right, so let's look at the shot, see if there's any changes first. Not much. So let's again make it, you know, maybe 4 uniques or something like that. Got to watch this Middleton news, make sure that he's not out. And let's do the monster. What does that one look like? Yeah, it looks reasonable. Speaking of Chris Middleton, I don't think I've ever made any money with him. I don't know why I'm playing him, but okay. And then we will upload this lineup. And then, like, for example, let's just say, yeah, we're gonna do this, Travis. So just for fun, all right, let's pull up this lineup here, and we'll just edit this whole thing. I mean, so quite honestly, we clear things, and then we start with just the top. You start with my sheets, okay? So you asked what the process is, so we'll rate all these by point per dollar, and we're going to start with this. So pretty big gap here, so you want to play probably both of these guys. So Bradley Beal and I mean probably all these guys. Let's see if we can play all these guys. Bradley Beal, Donovan Mitchell. So let's put these in first. Okay, we'll mess around with this in a minute. We'll put in. I don't know whether we're going to want shooting guards or. It's usually easier to find. Well, let's just see. So let's put in Beal. We'll put him at point guard first. Beal, Mitchell, and then who's the next guy I had rated? Was Me Too. We can put him either power forward or center. It doesn't matter. It depends on where we want to use Jarrett Allen. So we could put him at. I have a couple of good center options, so we'll put him at power forward. We could actually use Allen at power forward as well. So you put Me Too in here at power forward. You could even put Jarrett Allen at power forward. And I don't even know if you can afford all this, but these are just guys I'm just throwing in here. Bismack 4,400 makes sense, right? And again, there's a method to this madness. We're just putting plays in for a minute. Then we're going to see what else. Shooting guard, Kyrie and Strus, both at shooting guard. Kyrie, can we even afford all this? Strus, we'll find out. It looks reasonable. Any more cheapos? Who's a small forward? Jalen Johnson, Markkanen, maybe. Okay, so let's start with this. Jalen Johnson and Markkanen, and we're going to be over, right? Okay. So all these are good plays, but we haven't factored in correlation. We haven't factored in run backs. We haven't done anything, and we certainly don't even have enough to play all this. Now, the first thing I do is I look at this and I say, okay, am I overweight like any game here? And yeah, I see that there is more. I have 2 Cleveland guys and no Washingtons. So first thing I'll consider to save money is take Mitchell out and save money there. Another thing I see, because they are taking from each other's shots. Then you have Beal and Me Too, but they don't really take from each other. But you also have Jarrett Allen along with Mitchell and Strus. Okay. So what we could do is change one of these two. We could turn this into a Cleveland-Washington stack and pick our favorite Washington guy. Now, let's see if you got to project okay. Can't be great. So Kuzma would be the guy to play, all right? He's not the greatest projected guy, but it's not bad, and I could save a little money off of the guy that was there before. Not much, though. So now we have 4,400 left to cut if we want to play this Cleveland-Washington stack. And the problem is there's not a lot of places to cut. You could cut Bradley Beal a little bit, maybe. You could cut Kyrie Irving. So let's see, who's good at shooting guard that we can play instead of Kyrie Irving? Really not anybody. You could go back to Giddey. So it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get away with this kind of stack idea. What you could do, so who are you going to sacrifice? You could sacrifice, Mitchell for somebody, or you could sacrifice Jarrett Allen for somebody. You sacrifice Jarrett Allen for someone, you got to find a $4,100 guy. I think what you're supposed to do is just sacrifice Mitchell and find like an okay. Let's see if we can find an okay point guard here for 6,000. Pretty close. but not really. Brunson, yeah, point guard's rough, but I think you have to go with Giddey. And this is what we do. So we have Giddey now, and now we only have to save 300. And now that we're not really stacking this game, you don't have to play Kuzma anymore. You certainly don't have to play Kyrie. So that's what I prefer. I prefer to find a shooting guard that's 8K if I can do it. Let's see if that exists. Kyrie just looks like the guy in that range, though. Middleton. All right. Okay. So we could play Middleton instead of Kyrie. And we're still kind of pure, right? You're leaving 600 on the table. Not the greatest. Okay. So let's just see if there's anybody that looks good. Like, can I get an upgrade from Beal? Probably not. You could get, well, nobody says you have to play Strus, right? It could be. Maybe Middleton takes me to the promised land. Maybe I leave 600 on the table. Who else is a center that I could play here that's like even close to 4,400? It's not quite going to do it for me. Well, you could play Nitu. No, that doesn't work either. Clarkson. Let's see. What's Clarkson? Clarkson at 72. You could put him in here instead of Strus. Yeah, like this. I mean, this could be a lineup. And you see what we have here. Like, all these are decent enough plays, but you have a couple that are not that great, which is good. You know what I mean? You can't have all the best plays because then they'll be really chalky. I don't think Giddey's going to be that popular. I don't think Clarkson at 7,200 is going to be popular. I don't think Kuzma is going to be popular. So you can do this. And remember, though, maybe we don't want to play Kuzma. Remember, we were playing Kuzma because we had this Cleveland stack going. Now, all of a sudden, we don't have Strus and what's his name anymore. But I think this is fine. All right. That's probably going to do it. We will I might do I'm going to do an NFL preview video, and then I might do a golf preview video. We're definitely going to be live later, and I'll do a lineup build for sure. And that should do it.